This is the High School Football America podcast for December the 12th, 2019. I'm Jeff Fisher, and we're going to talk some national championship on the podcast today. Talking with Jason Negro, the head coach at number 1, St. John Bosco, going against number 7, De La Salle. St. John Bosco wins it. They will win the mythical High School Football America National Championship. Talked to Coach Negro this morning, early 6:15 West Coast time. And as he was driving, we have some drops in the audio. We apologize for that, but it's still a great interview as we go inside Coach Negro's head, heading into what definitely is not only the biggest game of the 2019 season, but maybe his career there at St. John Bosco. And here's that interview. Heading to Southern California to talk to a very good friend of ours, a guy that I met back in 2012 when we moved to Southern California. And he never ducked the question of our rankings and what it would mean for St. John Bosco to win a national championship. They won one a couple of years ago, part of Max Preps. They head into the championship game, the Open Division championship game in California against number 7 De La Salle as the number 1 team unanimously, whether it's USA Today, Max Preps, or High School Football America, and all the other ranking services. And Jason Negro's on the line to talk about playing a pretty darn big game. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing? It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Really appreciate you giving me a call this morning.
Well, and I appreciate you being up and early, but I guess the blood's pumping a little bit. And I want to go back to the statement that I made, and you've made it on the show before. Certainly, you want to win Trinity League titles. You want to win CIF, the top classification there in the Southern section. But you've always said that national title's important to you. I guess that hasn't changed. How does it feel to be on the brink? At least you're playing in the game, right?
Yeah, no, we're really excited about the opportunity. And, we know that Bosco provides us a platform at our school based on the league that we participate in and the flexibility that our administration gives us in order for us to be able to travel across the country or bring in schools. And so we've done everything, on our schedule to put us in the position to be able to compete for a national title, and that's what we're going to do on Saturday.
And I know you're excited about it. St. John Bosco, number 1, unanimously in all the national ranking services against De La Salle. I think they're pretty much top 10 everywhere. High School Football America has them at number 7. I read a great article this morning in the Long Beach, the Press Telegram, about talking about bringing you back to the alma mater to coach. And one of the things that was written about was they really never opened the job when they hired you. It was an interesting story. Tell me a little bit about that process and some of the things that you talked about when the school contacted you to say, hey, Jason, you're the guy we want. There's no doubt you're an alum. You've played here. What were some of the things you talked about that are very, very clear to the administration now when you're in this position to play for a national title?
Well, I think the important thing is that I was an alum of the school, and so I had already had one brief stint at the school as a coach, as an assistant from 98 to 2000, so I was really familiar with the school. I was familiar with the program, and I was familiar with the culture that was built within it. And, and I think it was just lacking some things. The Bosco community has always been very that surrounded the program, but we never could get over the hump. And I think the ultimate thing for me coming into the program was to change that culture, to try to bring a winning spirit to that and talk about winning. And I think that was always, something that everybody was kind of afraid of. And people wanted to say, yeah, we wanted to compete and compete and compete. And I said, well, I'm tired of just competing. Anybody can go. I'll start challenging people to win this league, and I want to challenge people to, potentially win CIF titles. And if we're good enough, then see what we can do on a national landscape. And that's what we were able to do.
Yeah, and in your wildest dreams, back when you were a player there, I think you played baseball too. I think you remember telling me at one point. But in your wildest dreams, did you ever think, with all the confidence you had and the success you had before you got to St. John Bosco, that you guys would be where you are at this point? I know that's a kind of a yes or no question, but if you could give me the answer after yes or no, that would be great.
Yeah, no, the answer is definitely not. Again. We had such, kind of a long period of time where we struggled, as a program. And, I didn't really know if my abilities, my abilities to bring in. You just go to a place and it's just the way it is, and no matter who you bring in, people are going to struggle, and the program may never take off. But I certainly wanted to give it a shot. I had been a head coach for 7 years. We were extremely successful where I was at, prior to coming to Bosco, and I wanted to try to get on that big stage. I wanted to try to challenge my skill set against some of the best. Lutheran and Bruce Rollinson was at Modern Day. Troy Thomas was at Servite. So, kind of the hierarchy and the top ranked coaches in the region were all in one league. So I thought, well, what better way to go challenge who you are as an individual and see if your skill set matches some of the best in the country. And that's what I wanted to really do. So that's the reason why I took the leap of faith and I went to Bosco, and I'm certainly happy that I did.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Jason Negro, head coach at St. John Bosco, #1 in the land in all the ranking services, playing De La Salle for the national championship. It is theirs to win. There's no doubt about it. They control their own destiny. And I mentioned when we had you on during the preseason, we did a little study since we started the algorithm. And out of all the teams in the nation, St. John Bosco was the highest ranked, always highly ranked in the High School Football America 100. And this year you have a chance to claim that first one. You mentioned the quality opponents in the Trinity League. You played the quality schedule this year, but I don't think we can talk about this game coming up against De La Salle without taking a quick look back about the two battles with Modern Day. The second one getting you to the championship game, coming back from 23 points down, and I know you've spoken about that a lot, but I think the question I want to ask you about that is how much did that comeback help you as you got prepared for De La Salle? Does it take the bar and move it higher, saying, hey, guys, look at what we were able to accomplish against one of the best in the nation?
Well, I think, obviously it's still fresh in our minds. So it was a motivating factor over the last 2 weeks, trying to get ready and prepare for a De La Salle team that's certainly one of the top-ranked teams in the country. So, we looked at it too. We were just kind of out of sync. Uncharacteristic of our team. We had some turnovers in the red zone that really put us behind the 8 ball, and we blew some coverages early in the game that led to 2 quick touchdowns. So we fell behind quickly, but I think our kids really exhibited a lot of faith and a lot of belief in the system that we had in place. We knew the first game that we were going to continue to battle. We game, late into the fourth quarter. And we knew that we could do the same in the finals. And if the ball bounced our way and we can get a couple of stops in the second half, we were going to have a chance. And our defense just stepped up and we held them to 7 points in the second half. And I think we rattled off 34 points from halftime on. So for us to be able to do that gave us a lot of confidence, and I hope it carries over into this game against De La Salle on Saturday.
No doubt about it. And when you play De La Salle, I think it's a fair statement to say you play a little bit of mystique. I mean, no one wins 151 games in a row and then shrinks into the background. You beat them before for a championship, but they run an offense that you don't see a whole lot. It's changed a little bit maybe since Coach Ladouceur, but
sure,
it's still De La Salle. Tell me a little bit about preparing for an offense that's just a little bit different from what you normally see nowadays.
That's a great question because, they are a little bit unconventional in terms of what they do. They're a little bit of an old school approach. Their primary offense is a split back veer, and they've got 3 really, really talented players in the backfield with their quarterback and the 2 running backs. It's unconventional. And the hardest part about playing a team like this is you really can't mimic a scout look during the week of practice that's going to give you any type of indication of how well you're going to be able to play against it because you just don't do that. It's almost like if you had an option team and then you're going to, try to prepare for a spread team and you got to have your option quarterback go out there and be a scout team quarterback. He's not going to throw the ball real great. So it's a little bit of flip for us. So for us to be able to try to mimic what they do offensively is very difficult. But what I will say in high school football, they're a lot more spread this year. In the past, It was probably 90-10 from veer to a spread, and they're more about 50-50 right now, and which is a little bit surprising. But, Coach Alabaugh's got a lot of confidence in their quarterback. He's pretty much a 3-year starter, and he's only a junior. And they got some really talented guys surrounding him. So you got to give him credit for adapting to a little bit of his my opinion. And, that makes it a little bit more difficult for us.
Yeah, no doubt. I was watching on HBO the great documentary Belichick and Saban last night, and they were talking about a lot of things when it comes to coaching and the art of coaching. That was what the background was. And what I wanted to ask you is, these still are high school kids. I don't care what kind of league you play in, how big of a schedule you play. You're still talking about teenagers, right? And what is it that you talk to kids about going into this and throughout the last 2 weeks about how to manage emotions, that adrenaline that you want pumping as well as you can, but not too far over the top as you get into the ball game itself?
Well, I think you used a key term there, and it's called manage. You have to manage these young guys, and you have to understand that they're still kids. But we were able to check off, a goal of ours, and I think one of the things we discussed from early January on is the fact that we have these boxes of things that we want to check. We still want to win a state title and potentially a national title. So for us, we still got 2 boxes to check. And we know that if we take care of business on Saturday, that we're going to, obviously be the front runner with our season complete, playing one of the toughest schedules in the country. I don't see how anybody's going to jump us. So we know this is for the national title. We know that this is something special. And our kids, that, look, we've worked since January for this moment, and we've got 48 minutes to go out there and prove to everybody that we're the top-ranked team in the country, and all we have to do is go worry about what we do, continue to play football the way that we've been playing it. I think we're peaking at the right time, which is the most important thing. And if God willing and things go our way and we're a little bit fortunate, during this game, we're going to come out on top. But, I think managing those expectations, our kids understanding that the job is not done, is going to really help us get prepared for De La Salle. We've certainly had an amazing 2 weeks of practice. Our kids are locked in and focused, and I really like where our mindset's at right now.
And the fact that you don't have to travel north or travel anyway, for that matter, to play the game. How important is that for you guys?
It's huge. Cerritos College is a place that we're very familiar with. It was our home stadium when so we played the last couple of CIF title games there. Servite used to use it as their home stadium. So we've probably played at Cerritos, 20, 25 times over the 10 years that I've been at Bosco. So for us, it's a very familiar environment. It's about 2.5 miles from campus. So that's going to create a little bit of strain on the De La Salle program and those guys having to get in a bus and come all the way down. And, hopefully that'll tire them out a little bit because we're going to need all the help we can get on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And before I let you go here, I just wanted to kind of go back to, I think it was my second question when I was talking about the administration not opening up the job per se. You were the guy to say yes or no to it. But how important is it to you as a head coach and to your staff and to the players themselves to have buy-in from the administration? I know that's kind of a loaded question that'll let you get, wax eloquently about your bosses, but it really, truly is needed to play at the level you guys play at.
And my administration has been amazing. I mean, we have, quite the hierarchy at our school. We have an athletic director who's my direct boss, followed by our principal, and we have a president and a director of the school as well. The director is the Salesian priest that kind of, owns and operates our school. And then, the president and principal, they work, closely in conjunction with me with my vision and what we're trying to accomplish. And luckily I have some really creative, really kind of envelope pushing type people that I'm surrounded by, because they not only, me in the positions that I have to go out there and try to be as successful as possible. And, certainly, I don't get everything that we need. And it's certainly difficult at times in terms of financial, restraints and things like that we have to overcome, because we're not in an economic fluent area. And I have a lot of kids that are minorities and, are kind of economically strapped. But I think we do a really good job of positioning our kids and giving them opportunities. And, I'm glad that they didn't open the job up. It was I didn't have to put a resume together. I didn't have to put any kind of, wish list together or anything like that. I just important people. The athletic director and I have known each other for a very long period of time, and he's a Bosco graduate. what I was going to bring and the type of man that I was and what I was going to try to, do in terms of building that football program. And I cannot stress it enough how important it is to have people that share the same vision that you are and let you be creative, because that's certainly what I have at Bosco, and I'm very, very blessed to have the opportunities that I have.
And that's why you're on the brink of a national championship. Coach, appreciate the friendship. Just best of luck on Saturday night. I can't root for anybody, but I certainly have a special place in my heart for you, and Merry Christmas to you and yours and your family. And, boy, how would that be, a national championship, if Santa Claus brings that down the chimney?
I know. That would be really nice. Every year my mom is still to this day asks, me, what I want for Christmas. I always tell her every year, I want a ring, Mom. I want a ring. We got the ring. We got the ring by beating Mater Dei. So she says, all right, you got your ring. And I said, well, now I want to try to find out what we're going to etch on it. So we got some work to do, Jeff. And, thank you very much for everything you do for high school. Tell Tricia I said hello, and you guys have a great holiday season.
Thanks. Take care. Good luck.
All right. Thanks.
Number 1, St. John Bosco versus number 7, De La Salle for the Open Division Championship in Southern California. Again, we apologize for the drops in the audio there, but we appreciate Coach Negro taking the time early this morning, 6:15 West Coast time, to do the podcast. The new High School Football America Top 100 will come out on Sunday around noontime, and then with Texas being the last state to wrap things up next week, the official coronation of the national champ will come up just before Christmas. You've been listening to the High School Football America podcast. I'm Jeff Fisher.